It is go time, everybody. Yes, it is go time in the high school baseball season because the district tournament is about to start this upcoming week. And we will be diving into that and much more here on the Curtain Call podcast on the Man on Second YouTube channel. Hey, everybody, it's been an amazing year. It's hard to believe the regular season has come to a close, and it was a really exciting season. And now, all that hard work that all these teams did to put themselves in position to go on to state, or their season will come to a close. It all starts on Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way up through Thursday, there will be district playoffs. After that, the winners that move on, they will play in the regionals. Regionals this year in Florida, best two of three, not just one and you're done. So that'll be really interesting, and that will lead us to the state playoffs, which will be in Fort Myers, which will be basically the state semifinals and finals in May. But first, we'll take care of a little bit of business here on the channel here. First of all, again, thanks to everyone for all the support we've been getting. It's been an unbelievable run we're on. Please like and subscribe. That makes this all happen. And right now, a lot of people I'm meeting and seeing. We're talking a lot about the growth of the channel. And last month in March, we had like almost 1.4 million views total, which was a record. As we're recording this, we're closing in on 900,000. I plan on being at about 1 million views by Tuesday, which would be like the 15th or halfway through the month. So goal is to get 2 million. And with the amount of content that we're going to have coming up, that will happen. And why is that important? Is because this channel is the most important baseball sports channel in South Florida because we make a difference. We are about you guys, the grassroots, the people that are playing the games at the amateur level, the high school level, and beyond that. Obviously, Delane has really taken me through the high school route. And where we're making a difference is all this exposure is your exposure, as a lot of these players are getting an immense amount of coverage and exposure that will lead to, hopefully for them, college opportunities, if not more, because a lot of the players that are on our radar, and we talk about this show, the pros are considering drafting either if they're part of the 25 class this summer, or certainly we got guys all the way down to the freshman level who are catching the attention of the area scouts or the major league teams that are working it as well. So, but we're going to make this episode. A lot of times on the Curtain Call podcast, we rehash what I just saw. I'm not going to do that this week because I'm going to kind of look ahead because we're in, like I said, it's go time, it's district time, and so we're going to talk about that right now. And I'm going to start off with some of the districts I'm going to be following. Most of these are in Broward County. I can't cover everybody. I mean, there's so much, but I'm keeping tabs. But really, a lot of interest will be going on in Class 7A District 13 at Stoneman Douglas. Will host that. Stoneman Douglas, obviously, the favorite. They are the number one seed. They're seeking their fifth straight state title. They will play Monday night at 7 o'clock at home against Coral Glades. At 4 o'clock, interesting game, Western at Taravella. That should be interesting. And obviously the winners of these two games move on to the championship game, which will be Wednesday. Let's take a minute and talk about Stoneman Douglas because this is a team, once again, Coach Todd Fitzgerald and his staff have assembled a remarkable roster that's really kind of hit their stride. I think they're 21-2. And just have had an amazing season. Amazing for the fact that they lost so much senior leadership from a year ago. So a lot of the juniors and younger that from last year that have stepped up into leadership roles, this is their team now, and they certainly have the pitching to go all the way. But first things first, let's talk a little bit about some of their highlight players. Drew Freeman, their fine catcher, led their team in hitting with 406. Bennett Gary, who will be Miami commit. Drew, by the way, Louisville commit. Bennett Gary, 389. Jake Rizzo had a really good year, hitting 380. I believe Dayton is what Jake is looking at. Obviously, the pitching staff is anchored by probably the best lefty pitcher in the state, and junior Gio Rojas, 8-0. Remarkable, folks, 0.95 ERA. And you might want to sit down on this one. 64 strikeouts in 36 and two-third innings. Gio has just been unbelievable. Question is when will Gio pitch, or how much do they pitch Gio in the semis, or hold him for the championship game, assuming they win? Chase Wild Route. He's a right-hander who is a candidate to start in one of those games, either tonight, tomorrow, or the championship game, assuming Douglas moves on. My question with Douglas this year is not so much the pitching, because their pitching is probably the best, and certainly in South Florida, and one of the best pitching staffs from top to bottom in the state. But obviously, runs are going to be a little harder to score in the postseason. 7A is really loaded. A lot of great teams around the state are vying to knock off Stoneman Douglas this year. So who's going to be that clutch hitter? We can read the stats. We know the names. But which player is going to really step up, deliver that big hits? Because in the last few years, you had a Nico Benestad, a Devin Fitzgerald, an Alex Rodriguez, Rylan Lujo. All these guys were super clutch seniors from a year ago. They kind of tended, obviously, Devin Fitzgerald had a remarkable year, got himself drafted by the Texas Rangers. Always seemed to have the knack for the big hit at the big moment. So who's that going to be? Well, you got like Nick Diaz, certainly, as a candidate. Bennett Gary has been that kind of guy as well. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on that. Who's going to be Michael Osenfort? Don't sleep on him. Michael missed some time, dealt a little bit with like an intercostal in the rib area, oblique-ish thing. He's back. Will play a big part. Very clutch hitter. So looking for big things from him. Obviously, Lorenzo Laurel, underclassman as well. Lorenzo, Florida commit next year, 2026 class. Is certainly capable of big moments. So so that's my things I'm going to be looking for to see who kind of steps up. Obviously, last year in state, Nick Diaz, he's certainly proven it. Nick had a home run in the state semifinals a year ago, and in extra innings in the championship game against Windermere, he had the winning hit in the ninth inning. He had the walk-off hit. They went to extras. So they certainly have the guys that can do it. So the other big game, I'm really curious to see this one. Western has got Taravella. A very disappointing year for the Wildcats. They finished the regular season 11-13. They had much better hopes of that going into the year. But they won their last three games, and they beat Taravella on April 3rd, 6-0. Taravella is the 2 seed. Western's the 3 seed in this one. So Taravella is like the home team. In that game against Taravella, Ryan Schaefer, he pitched a complete game, was really good. Interesting, and could be the key for Western, because again they have new life now. They certainly have a talented roster. Jimmy Heward, who's had this up and down year, but he's starting to find his stride. He in his last outing against Gulf Coast pitched 5 innings, struck out 8. I think that was a 3-0 game. So very curious to see how Western responds, because obviously, like I said, new slate, they didn't do a lot right. They didn't really play good team baseball. They didn't execute very well for much of the year. Their pitching is certainly good enough to win some games in district and get to regionals, and we'll see what happens from there. But again, if you got Jimmy Heward, a Vandy commit, is pitching at a high level, that's a game changer. And Mason McGeehan, a junior, South Florida commit. He's certainly capable, as well as Ryan Schaefer, and Zach Barris down with injury right now. But their Western is still a team that can be pretty dangerous in a short playoff type series. So we'll see. Taravella, of course, they've had a really good year, 15-9. J.C. Martinez hit .414 for them. Sebastian Mayfield hit .409. Looking forward to seeing them, to see how they perform, because Taravella is one of those teams that has a chance to make some noise as well. So that should be a fascinating district, and very interested to see who comes out or who plays Douglas. I'm pretty much assuming Douglas is going to be in the title game. So whether Taravella or Western will be the ones facing him on Wednesday night, that should be interesting to follow. Let's take it down to 4A District 15, American Heritage Plantation, 19-6 on the year. Starting to find their stride in 4A. You know, they're a team that has reached the state championship games back-to-back years. Won it all in 2023, beat Tampa Jesuit last year. They flipped the script, went back, played Jesuit. It was Jesuit's turn this time. Those two teams are the front runners in 4A again to hook up in Fort Myers. But obviously, first you got to get there. Heritage is hosting this regional, the 4A 15 district. They got a bye. They'll play the American versus Northeast winner. Somerset has Matter Lakes Academy in the other game there. I guess that would be a semifinal. So it's looking like it could be like a Heritage Somerset championship game, which would be quite fascinating. Somerset, of course, really good junior. John Mora, the son of the coach, John Mora. John Mora Jr. hit 476 on the year. Really talented player. Got to talk to him and meet him the other day against Nova. In that game, Somerset kind of rested most of their main guys, ended up losing that game 11-6 to Nova. But you know they certainly have talent. They're certainly a team. If Heritage doesn't show up, it could be a long night for Heritage. But let's talk a little bit about the Patriots. Heritage had again coming on strong late. I can't talk enough about Jordan Rich. I'm going to throw up a video of him because I'm on record right now saying position player wise, because I think Joe Rojas is the best player in Broward overall. But Jordan Rich, I think, has emerged as the best position player, center fielder, who has really done it all. And here's Jordan hitting a home run. It was funny, back-to-back games, his home run off Flanagan. Back-to-back games, Jordan hit a leadoff homer. He finished the year with 6. And think about 2 to 3 weeks ago, JR didn't even have a homer. That was a knock on him. But get a load of this season. And it's not just the stats that the stats do tell the story, but just the level of play that you could just see Jordan Rich getting better at. But he hit 407, 6 home runs, 6 doubles, 2 triples, 13 walks, 7 strikeouts, 31 runs scored, and 27 stolen bases. So that's why, to me, Jordan is the best all around. He's the best player. This guy is impacting a game at every level. Like on the bases, he's the best on the bases. He's scoring runs he's more runs than games played, more stolen bases than games played. Now he's getting, as you see in this home run, getting top spin, elevating the ball and driving it. Just to take you through this at bat against Flanagan, he takes the first 2 pitches, which were pretty much fastballs, hittable fastballs, but just being the leadoff guy, he took the pitches. So he's down 0-2. Then he takes, he spits on 2 breaking balls in the dirt, gets it to 2-2, and then you see he does this. So this guy is hitting with 2 strikes. He literally is doing it all. Very good chance this guy's going to get drafted. Miami-Dade commit. But we'll see what happens there. But Jordan is very driven. He's very motivated to really make some noise. And in the district, assuming that Heritage moves on to regionals, this is going to be a time that a lot of eyeballs and a lot of people are going to be seeing Jordan Rich play against top-notch competition in the highest level. A few other players, obviously, really good years for Heritage. Joey Castro had tipped, and Joey hit 403. Dylan Dubovic, another guy that very easily could be drafted, Miami commit, hit 388. Dylan obviously pitches too, but real power threat, just kind of evolving more as a well-rounded hitter. He's kind of shortened his swing up and not just constantly sell out looking to hit the ball as far as he can. And he doesn't need to sell too much because he's got immense power. But hitting the ball, seeing a lot of doubles and triples from him in recent games. Pitching, big move that Talon Holiday is back. Talon threw only 20 in the 3rd innings this year, 1.72 ERA, senior North Carolina commit. He had been out a little bit with a lower body injury, but he is back and pitching. And if he is pitching at a high level, you got to like Heritage's chances. Heritage has pretty good pitching overall anyway, though, but Mark Aliman, a lot of credit to the lefty, went 5-1. Mark had a 2.06 ERA, and he kind of assumed the ace role with talent on the shelf. So we'll see if Mark Aliman could kind of keep that rolling because it's going to come down to pitching. The bullpen's going to have to really step up. Caden Garrow is kind of doing the leverage innings, but they got other guys that can do the job as well. The question is will they do the job? And will Heritage score enough? They leave a lot of guys on. They have a way of playing games, and it seems like they're up by 8 to 10 runs, and they're only up like 2 runs, but they kind of make it stick. So we'll see how the Patriots do in that district and beyond. Let's take it over now to St. Thomas. St. Thomas Aquinas, 6A District 15. St. Thomas Aquinas will be hosting that regional that district. And again, that's a loaded district. They got a bunch of teams. So St. Thomas has a bye. Cooper City will play South Plantation in one of the games. Nova will play is the number 2 seed. They'll play Dr. Crop. And Flanagan is number 3 seed. They'll play South Broward. So there's going to be 3 games at Nova. And this will be interesting. Let's look at St. Thomas first because they've had an amazing year. Really made a lot of progress as the year went on. Offensively, they're as potent a lineup as there is in the state, really. Brady Bucksbaum, really, second half, just one of the top players in the county, no doubt. A junior, South Florida, first baseman. 471 with 8 homers. And they got Nico Sabatino and Josh Jennings both hitting over 400. Zach Malvasio didn't taper off too much, hit 372, 11 homers. Andrew Alvarez, 9 homers. Johnny Lopez, 6 homers. They, top to bottom, that lineup there are no easy outs, and really how pitchers navigate through that lineup is going to be very interesting. And then pitching wise, Julian Diaz 7-1, Thomas Giltner 4-1. So St. Thomas is really well positioned to not just win district, but to get to Fort Myers. If they move on to regional, there's a good chance they will eventually hook up with Doral Academy, which would be quite fascinating to see that matchup if that comes to fruition. Let's take it. Let's look at some of the other teams. Nova's been a very fun team, an interesting team this year, and I got some footage here. Let me make sure I got the right video. That's Jordan Rich just won't leave the screen. So let's see. We got this one here. There we go. This is catcher Cole Beauvais, switch hitting catcher. But look at what Cole does here. Boom! There you go, Cole. Go, Cole. Let's have the ump. Let's see the ump. Come on. Where's that ball? Home run. And so good job by Cole. Had a huge game against Somerset. He I think he drove in about 4 or 5 runs. He had, I think he had a double and a single as well in this game. Triple shy of the cycle, I think he was, with 4 or 5, like I said, RBIs. And even the game ended with Cole throwing a guy out trying to steal second. So good to see Cole swinging the bat. He's had a really good year for the Titans. So, again, Jordan, we love you, but we'll get you off the screen as well. And get me back up and up to speed here. And, again, Nova's a team that's scrappy. They know how to, they've won a lot of games. They got a lot of seniors on that team. It's going to come down to their pitching, whether they could keep them in it, whether they could get to that title game with Aquinas. Flanagan's, don't sleep on Flanagan. That's a very talented team that just didn't have the year they thought. Lost a lot of close games. They played a very tough schedule. Flanagan, Miguel Calmaneris, Cade Corzo, Daniel Chavez. They got some players that can do some damage. The question is, will their pitching, step up, and when you're playing at St. Thomas, it's a smaller field, so pitching definitely needs to step up in that ballpark, as balls in the air tend to go out of the ballpark. Joel Herrera's had a huge year for them. He's their closer. Big week. He's I think he had back-to-back games with home runs. And so, again, Flanagan's a team, new life, much like Western. The year didn't go their way. Also, keep in mind, Flanagan last year was in 7A. They were in that district with Western and West Broward and Taravella. But now this year, they fell down to 6A. So interesting to see how they navigate that. But that should be a very fascinating district, and we'll be following that one closely. Uh, Kick it down to 2A District 14 at NSU, Nova Southeastern University High School. They will be the host. They are the number 2 seed. We're the number 1 seed for most, but Chaminade Madonna, just amazing year by the Lions. They claim the number 1 seed. So even though they'll be the 1 seed, U School will be the 2 seed, and everyone's kind of looking forward to those two meeting in the championship game, but obviously both have to get there first. For U School, Griffin Pomper, the senior catcher, Jacksonville commit, hit 507. Just a really good year. Really cemented himself. Everyone knew how good this guy was, but Griff has really stepped up and has a lot to be proud of. But that's another team with a lot of seniors on there, with Braden Potter and Rocco Rovetto and Devin Mila and Juju Logan. They got a lot of guys that are on that team. That are really playing. Landon Combs is playing at a high level. He's had a really good year. Mark Manuel's had a really good year. Christian McGilvery has done a really good job at shortstop. So hats off to the Sharks. They had a really good season. We'll see how their pitching does in this tournament. And they're going to have to pitch because Chaminade Madonna, they're one of those teams that just kind of shows up and plays hard and finds ways to win. And that's why they're in the top 15 in my state rankings on the High School on SI, High School on Sports Illustrated website, and you'll see that story will come out later. If it hasn't come out Sunday night, it'll be out Monday. But I'll have the new rankings. Everyone, please also go check out my work there. I'll send that link out on my social. But for the Lions, Chaminade Madonna, Trace Zalman hit 429. John Bishop, the shortstop, 426. Pitching, obviously, Spencer Krasner's been their story. 8-0. Spence has just been dealing all year. 1.22 ERA, so he doesn't give up too much. Again, 82 strikeouts and 46 innings with 15 walks. So that's pretty impressive. Spencer's had himself quite the season. And it's not just a one-man show in their pitching staff. Santi Arismendi, he's 6-1 with a 1.81 ERA, and he's logging a lot of crucial innings as well. So it should be a very fascinating championship game, assuming U School and Chaminade meet up. But that's kind of expected. But we shall see. That's why they play the games, right? Let's take it over to 5A 15 at Archbishop McCarthy. They will host Pembroke Pines Chargers, the number 2 seed at 11-11-1. McCarthy is one of those teams that just got better as the year went on. They're younger, although they have good senior leadership, but they got some younger guys that kind of came of age as the year went on. They pitch really well. Coach Mike Fires knows how to use and get the most out of guys. He'll do 2-3 inning stints if he doesn't give a lot of second looks on some of these guys. Flanagan does that a bit too, and Noel Figueroa does that as well. But Fires, former big league pitcher, kind of has a feel for that kind of stuff. Offensively, Danny Machado, great to see Danny closing out his high school career with a monster year. He hit 440, Florida Atlantic recruit. Juan Serra, really good year, 437. And sophomore Alejandro Cabral hit 392. Congrats to all those guys for really strong seasons. Good to see the Mavericks are back and they should make a lot of noise in 5A. That should be a very interesting. And Pembroke Pines Charter at 11-11-1 they're number 2 seed. Most likely those two teams will meet in the title game. And Jaguars have had an interesting year. They're kind of a younger team. Eric Molina stepped up, hitting 389 for them. Sebastian Gonzalez as a hitter and pitcher has been really good. And then my guys, senior Sammy Murillo and Justin Prost with really good years. And their pitching staff, in a short series, they got Dean Jaworski, they got Sebastian Gonzalez. Seabass throws like 92 or whatever. He gets a lot of looks from scouts who are very interested. And then Martin Pereira, he's thrown very well as well. So they could offer, McCarthy's not an explosive offensive team, so that could be a fascinating title game. And Pembroke Pines Charter is certainly capable of advancing and winning that district, but the favorites are McCarthy, the host team. But again, both teams have to get there and win their semifinal game. 7A, didn't want to leave this one out because spend a lot of time out there at West Broward. They, again, like I said, they moved on from that district with Western and Taravella. They are now in 7A District 14. They're kind of drawing teams from the south. They're the West Broward, the Bobcats are number 1 seed. They get Goldman. The district will be at Cypress Bay. They're the two seed, and Hialeah Gardens. That kind of rounds out those four. West Broward, the Bobcats are really talented, and most of their core is juniors. They just haven't really hit their stride. They're 15-10. They played a very, very tough schedule, but they haven't done. They'll do the little things, but they just haven't necessarily done them at the right moments to win some of these close games. Their offense is certainly good enough, but it just hasn't clicked. But playoffs, new time, so it'll be interesting. To see what happens with West Broward, because they're probably going to, I think they line up regionally again with Columbus out of Miami. So, and then you get by that, you get Douglas. So it could be quite fascinating for the Bobcats. But they certainly have a lot of pitching, a lot of hitting. They got a lot of really good players who are battle tested. So I'm expecting to see a more polished and a more focused West Broward team in the district playoffs. I'd be disappointed if I don't see that. Then a couple of other districts before we got on out of here. True North Classical Academies had a really good year, 15-7, 2A District 15. They're the 1 seed. Westminster Christian last year, of course, went to the state championship game, lost to North Broward Prep. That should be really a great district championship game if that comes to fruition. Again, 7A 16, Columbus is there, and then we expect Columbus to see them playing up in Broward or hosting West Broward at some point. Then we got Doral Academy and Braddock are the 1 and 2 seeds respectively in 6A 16. Again, Doral is great talent. I love Doral. Great players and everything, but a little alarming just how lopsided they've. It's no embarrassment to lose to IMG or Stoneman Douglas, but they got blown out and twice by IMG and then 10-1 by Douglas. So they're going to have to kind of find it real fast and get that focus, because they certainly have the talent to get to Fort Myers and obviously certainly to get to the regionals and move on. But last year kind of bit them. They had a team certainly capable of winning state, and they lost in their district tournament, went on the road in the regional and got upset by South Broward and eliminated. So we'll be seeing what the Firebirds do in the playoffs, whether they can just turn it on again. Also wanted to give some acknowledgement. North Broward Prep, 3A District 12, defending champs as well. North Broward Prep, looking for big things from them. They're a team that's really kind of stepped up as the year just kind of got methodically better. They're pretty high ranked in our rankings as well, state rankings. American Heritage Del Rey is the number 2 seed in that one. And for the Eagles of North Broward Prep, Max Burkholz, congrats to him, 544 batting average in the season. My guy Kieran O'Neill, Central Florida commit, hit 358 after a slow start. Never was worried about Kieran turning it on. Way too talented of a player. And North Broward Prep has some really good pitching as well. So that team is just kind of hitting their stride at the right time. Again, that's 3A District 12, and there's certainly more. I'll be paying attention to what Cardinal Gibbons is doing with Westminster Academy, and obviously Calvary Christian. We got a lot of teams that have the type of pitching that can get it going and make things really interesting. But The action is just starting, folks, and we'll be covering it all. Don't really have much more to say on this. No little words of advice. The only words of advice I guess I'd give for some of these kids is just kind of enjoy the moment, because now's the time that you see the separation, which players are going to show up, which players are going to focus, which teams are going to focus on that little thing, getting that bunt down, the runner in. If you have a chance to make it a bigger lead, do you do that, or do you keep it close, and all of a sudden weird things kind of happen, and you end up going home. But for all the kids who are participating, if this is their last bit of high school baseball, if you don't go on to college, just savor it, and parents too, just savor it, and uh, that this baseball is an amazing sport, and it opens doors in a lot of different ways. So enjoy these activities, enjoy these moments, everyone, and it should be really fun and exciting. In terms of me and my coverage, added to my video arsenal, I just got a GoPro 13 today to go along with my Insta360 camera. So I have two action cameras to go with my trusty iPhone, which I video most everything with. So I'm going to get a lot different angles, a lot of different coverage, ways to enhance the visuals here on the site to capture all the excitement as best as I can. Once again, it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to these district playoffs and much more. Again, please like, subscribe, notification, do all that fun stuff, because that kind of keeps this thing rolling. The better I do, the more resources I have to do more and expand this channel. Again, this channel is opening eyes. It's expanding way too fast to be ignored. We're outdrawing by a lot. Sites that do MLB, prospects, and much more. We're blowing them out of the water in views, and we're really. I'm not gonna say I'm a one-man show, because you guys have so many people that contribute. So it's everyone's chipping in to help grow this channel. But the Curtain Call podcast is just part of the channel. The Man on Second, please check out all the content. It's been a lot of fun. The season was fun, but now the real season starts. And with that, I wish everybody a lot of luck in the playoffs, and enjoy the ride. And we will catch everybody else in the